Should you upgrade your pedals before anything else? Why exactly is it that having good pedals in sim racing is so important? Will having better pedals make you faster or more consistent? I promise you that you will know the answer to these questions at the end of this video. My name is Marcus, I'm in the top 0.1% of iRacing, and in this video, I want to be explaining to you why pedals, and more specifically, your brake, is really important for improving your consistency in the sim. Now, when you're on the sim and in the car, there are two different types of information being transferred. First of all is the inputs. These are the things that you're giving the sim. This is you turning the wheel, pressing the brake, pressing the throttle, the information that you're giving the sim to show how you're gonna drive the car. Second of all, there are the outputs. This is the information that the sim is giving you. These are the visuals coming from your monitor, the force feedback coming through your base. These are all the things that the simulator or the game is feeding you so you can adapt your driving to the information. Now, why is this important, I hear you ask? That's because today we're only gonna be talking about your inputs into the sim. Now, if you think about it, there's only really two types of inputs that will affect your driving. This is first of all, your wheel movement, and second of all, your pedal inputs. Both of these are areas which you should have full control over, unless you're racing with assists, which you really shouldn't be, but that's a topic for another video, so make sure you subscribe. Anyways, you've got your wheel movement and your pedal inputs that you can work on, but where should you start? If we were to try and compare these two different types of input, which is hard because at the end of the day, they are two different things that have to work well together to get the optimal performance. But let's say that we had to put them up against each other. Do you think you would gain more time improving your wheel movement or gain more time improving your pedal inputs? To conduct this experiment, we're going to be looking at a little bit of telemetry. Now, I've decided to make it quite simple. So at the top, I've put the speed that we're carrying into the corner. In the middle, you have the amount of time that is gained or lost. If it goes up, the time is lost. If it goes down, the time is gained. And at the bottom, we have the braking inputs. Now, as you're able to see on this first picture, I'm braking about 5 to 10 meters earlier. But if you look at the speed at the very top, that shaves off about 10 to 15 kilometers an hour more than braking just 5 meters later. And that means that throughout the whole braking zone, we're going to be losing a whole lot of time. And if you look at the very end of it, we actually end up losing around 1.5 tenths just throughout the braking zone. Now, the main difference between these two is the later braking. But to be able to brake later, you need to be able to have better trail braking and better be able to carry the speed throughout the corner. And that's why it's important that we have a really precise brake pedal and a precise brake trace that we can use every single time. We also have another corner where once again, one of them is braking about 5 meters earlier. And you can see throughout the whole braking zone, a whole lot of time is lost. We also have this steering movement here at the bottom, which is slightly different, but it's basically the same thing. But a whole lot of time is lost throughout just this single braking zone. And if you have to do this 5, 10, 15 times throughout a lap, that is a lot of time that's lost. I basically just want to confirm to you that more time can be found in the braking than in the steering inputs. You know, if you change the steering inputs by 5 to 10 degrees, it won't change that much. But if you brake about 5 to 10 meters later in the braking zone, you will gain a whole lot of time. It's good to have that cleared. However, that doesn't answer the question of why do you need better pedals. Before I can explain this properly, we need to know the different types of pedals. First of all, you have your potentiometer brake pedals. These are your G29 pedals or your Fanatec CSL Elite pedals. A potentiometer brake works by measuring the distance of the pedal traveled and not the load that's put onto it. Now, this means that your brake foot has to adapt to applying the same amount of distance every braking zone and not the load. And this is really hard to generate proper muscle memory with. You can sort of compare this to if you had to do this and measure in the same distance every single time, you can't really get it spot on. It's basically the same thing, but with a brake pedal. Second of all, we have the load cell pedals. This is where you have your VRS pedals, your hoisting wheel sprint pedals, and your Acetic La Prima pedals. Now, these pedals work by measuring the amount of load that's put onto them through springs, through rubber, and through foam. But the most important thing is that it's the load. It's not the distance that you need to measure, it's the load every single time, and that makes it a lot easier to generate some proper muscle memory in your braking leg. Now, these pedals are very, very accurate, and a lot of pros use load cell pedals, but there is another type of pedal. They are the hydraulic pedals. These are the most accurate type of pedals you can get. They measure the brake pressure put on the pedal through a fluid, and then they transfer it into this virtual signal and send it off to the sim. Hydraulic pedals are also the pedals that they use in real cars and real life race cars, so you can argue that it's also the most realistic type of pedal. This is where you've got your Aztec Invicta pedals and your Hoising World Ultimate pedals and And while we're on that note, if you're looking to get Acetate Invicta pedals, I can't. If you're looking to get Acetate Invicta pedals or any other Acetate gear, they've been so kind as to provide us with an affiliate link. So if you want to support me while getting your hands on your favorite gear without spending any extra money, there's a link in the description, and I thank you so much for the support. Let's move on with the video. So what difference will it make when you finally get your hands on a load cell pedal or a hydraulic pedal? First of all, with these more advanced pedals, you can be a lot more precise on your braking inputs. Now, this extra little bit of precision will make a huge difference when you're trying to transfer the weight of the car in the braking zone. Being able to just be 1% more precise in every single braking zone will end up making a huge difference at the end of the race. Second of all, it is way more consistent to use load cells or hydraulics, as these sort of brakes rely on the amount of pressure and not on the amount of travel you put into the brake. Now, as I've already mentioned, this makes it way easier for your body and your mind to make some good muscle memory and be able to hit that brake marker every single time. Most of the driving that we do is supposed to be based on muscle memory. That's why you see drivers with unmatched consistencies. They're able to put down the same lap time every single lap. It's because they build up some good muscle memory. On top of that, when you build up more muscle memory, you will also build up more consistency, as your brain will not have to think about the braking anymore. You know, at some point, the braking will kind of go over to happening automatically. You don't have to worry about it. And with that confidence that you can control a car without having to worry about it, that'll just give you more confidence and more consistency and more confidence, and so on and so on. At the end of the day, the pedals is what regulates how fast you're going. And if you're able to more precisely control that, you can only get closer and closer to the limit. Anyways, lads, I hope that answers your questions of why it's important to have a good brake pedal. If you want to know what pedals I'm using, this video will give you that information, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.